Hey, listen up. In this video, I'm going to show you the difference between ear training and music theory. Now, they're both very important disciplines to learn. Believe me, I've spent my life learning and teaching both ear training and music theory, but they're very different things. And one of the things that I've discovered is that connecting them is important, but so is learning them separately, right? You want to learn ear training to culture your ear, to be able to understand what you hear within a very simple framework. And I'll talk about that in a second. And over here, theory has a whole bunch of understandings for how to study and understand on an intellectual level the music of musicians who have come before you. Okay, now, here's the thing. We live in a society that values the eye more than the ear. Now that is a real big hiccup if you're a musician learning to play, if you're an audience member learning to listen. Think about the last time you actually just sat down and listened to music without watching a video. Even myself right now, I know that if I want people to listen to my music, I probably need to make some kind of engaging video. So our eyes are very hungry. That's W.A. Matthew talking. Our eyes are hungry. They take up brain energy. Well, when do we use our eyes? We use our eyes when we're reading music. We use our eyes when we're decoding chord symbols. C major 7, G major 7, D minor 7, E7 flat 5, F7 flat 9. Or on the other side of the learning scale, we've got the 5-7, the 5-6-4, the 2-6, the passing chord. All the terms that you come up with in the course of study of music theory, or what I'd prefer to call musical mechanics, because it's just telling you what is happening in the music. It's not really that theoretical. It's music mechanics, but it's loaded with terms which we generally understand with our eye brain. When we go to play music, when we go to listen to music, when we go to create music, we got to turn on our ear brain and somehow wipe away our eye thinking. And with our eye thinking, we want to get away from thinking of terms. We want to get away from thinking about symbols. Now, Howard Gardner of multiple intelligence fame coined the term symbol systems with respect to notation as a symbol system within the domain of music, but so too are all the keys on the saxophone. Those form a symbol system in my mind. It's a kinesthetic symbol system. The keys on the piano, those are a symbol system, 12 keys. So all of this very complex, mostly visual, some kinesthetic information you need to process while you're making music. But where is it coming from? What is the engine of that? Well, it's got to be what you hear. And so as we train our ear, we want to train it in a way that is sound before symbol. We want to think about or really feel about what we're doing before we translate it into a complicated symbol system like the notes on the piano, or written notation, or analysis like 5-6-5, and so on. And that is why I've designed Tonehole to really, really focus on the simplest eye material, right? Just 7 letters, 7 words, 7 very simple, magical words that we can use to cast spells of emotion and feeling and sound, right? 7, do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. But I've put them into an arrangement on the game so that it still can connect to your scales, your chords, and your terminology. And now I'm going to show you how that works. So you've got do at the bottom, okay? There's our do in this case. Now, we don't know what note do is. And in fact, we don't really care. It could be C sharp, it could be A flat, it could be E natural. We don't really care because with this kind of hearing, tonal hearing, functional hearing, with movable do, we are really focusing on the relationship between the notes, the flavors of the tones. So we've got do here at the bottom. And notice the stairs walk up. Now, I've spent much of my career working with kids drawing little staircase diagrams. Go like that. And do's at the bottom and do's at the top. And so I've created Tonehole to represent some of these features that connect to music theory and other symbol systems. Okay? One of them is the arrangement. Notice, you probably already have if you've played the game, that the notes are arranged from bottom to top in a little alternating ladder. So the steps go up and up and up. And again, it doesn't matter if Do is C or E flat or F sharp or A or G or E, doesn't matter, because you're still hearing Do as the home note, the unifying tone. Now, so that's the steps going like that. But then there's also chords hidden in there. Because the steps alternate, the skips or the thirds stay on the same side. The thirds stay on the same side. So we've got our one chord, or you could just think of it as our Do chord, our two chord, or our Re chord, which is a minor triad. See, there's another theory term, minor triad. I know it. You might know it if you're working on sound before symbol. First, culture your voice, culture your ear to the sounds of the tones in the scale, major, minor, whatever, using the methods that I've related to you before ad nauseum in previous videos. And then we can start to add the understanding of, oh, Re, Fa, La, that's a two chord. Mi, So, Ti, well, that's a three chord. It's also minor. Do, Mi, So, major, one chord. Fa, La, Do, well, that's the four chord, the Fa, La, Do chord. Now, if I had my way, we would just get rid of all the other numbers and we just go, oh, that's the Fa, La, Do. Oh, that's the Do, Mi, So, right? Because that's really what they are. It describes what you hear. But since I, just like you, need to live in this world of terms and I thinking, we'll continue to say the one chord, the four chord. And then, of course, the five chord is interesting because it skips above Do. So on some levels, the Do continues, the octave continues up there. So we're feeling and hearing before we think. That's important. I'll say it again. We're feeling and hearing before we think and see. That way, we can stay close to the metal, as the computer scientists say. We're staying close to the source, the joy. The real joy of making music exists in sound. And the more we can touch that, the more we can feel that, the more we can think in music. That's Gary Karpinski talking. We can think in music, not about music. We can actually think in music. So that's all for today. Have a good time and play with your ears.